The third most requested tutorial video that we're getting from you all is what drone do we use and why? Well, I just so happen to have the drone that we use. It doesn't have propellers, just so I don't cut my face off right now. But we use the DJI Inspire 1, and this is it in all its beauty and all its glory. Any of the aerial shots you've seen within the last year and a half, 90% of them, if not more, have been done with this drone right here. There's several options out there. One of them is a DJI Phantom 4, which actually just came out. So that's essentially, in my opinion, that's the little brother. That one's about $1,000. This one, for the rough setup, full setup, you spend about $4,000, give or take a couple dollars. So this is the drone we swear by, and the thing that makes it so amazing is you don't have to be a professional drone pilot to fly these. They're so simple, easy to fly, that even Carter can fly them. So Carter is one of our main drone pilots on our team. He produces, he edits, he flies drones. What can't this guy do? But he's amazing at this. He picked it up really fast, so I'm gonna have him talk about that. I think it will be super relatable because he is not a professional flyer by any means, but all these amazing shots that you're seeing, he was one of the main pilots we have on our team that was actually capturing those shots. So here's Carter.
Okay guys, so just like Devin said, I do not pretend to be an expert drone pilot. I do think over the past year and a half I've gotten pretty good at flying this guy to get the cinematic shots that Devin wants. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, you're an up-and-coming filmmaker. Do you go with the Phantom? Do you go with the Inspire? I think those are two tiers that we want to talk about, because why we chose the Inspire over, let's say, you know, an octocopter or a bigger drone that can carry a red or a larger Canon camera. Those were too much machine for us. We weren't good at flying them. They take a lot of know-how. You have to know how to fix them, take a lot of maintenance and work, and that's just something that we didn't have the time to invest into doing. So when this guy came out, we probably got it just as early as anybody else because we knew that it was going to be a good crossover between user friendliness and camera quality. When this came out, it had the 4K camera. They now have upgraded to a better 4K camera that shoots in RAW. But as Devin said, every video you've seen was shot with the X1, that original 4K camera that they had. So why we like this over the bigger drones, as I said, user friendly, very easy to use, it's very intuitive. You can use the GPS as far as options like return to home. It can get you different shots. You can set a center point and then it can rotate around that center point. All of those GPS moves, I'm gonna be honest, we have never used. You hear a lot of horror stories about the drones not returning to home, or if you forget to calibrate your compass and you hit return to home and you're on an island in Greece and it starts to fly back to Utah, it is going to just run out of batteries and crash somewhere, probably in the ocean, and you're never gonna see it again. So we don't utilize those features a lot, but what we like about this is that it's smaller than the other drones, but it's better than a Phantom, and I'm gonna explain why. With a Phantom camera, with a Phantom drone, you only get one controller. With this one, you get two. One person is flying and one person is operating the camera. That opens up your possibilities as a filmmaker extremely. You can do so much more if you have full 360 capability. You can look down, you can look sideways. Doesn't matter which way the drone's facing, you can look whatever way you want. That to us was a huge upsell with the Inspire. With the Phantom, you don't get that option. You have to fly and control the camera at the same time, and that really limits what you can do as a filmmaker. The Phantoms are still awesome drones. You can get really good footage, but it is not on the same tier as this. Now, if you can't afford this, we highly recommend going with something like the DJI Phantom or the 3DR Solo. Those are all in the same tier. They come, most of them have GoPro mounts that use a GoPro. The new GoPro Hero 4s are amazing footage, but you will have the drawbacks as far as your gimbal is only a 2-axis gimbal. You can move up and down, but you can't move left to right. And also the stabilization, it's worse than this. It's not as good. On the Phantoms or the 3DRs, when you bank left to right, you're going to see that in your footage. With the Inspire, when you bank left to right, the camera stays stable, and that's because it has a 3-axis gimbal. So that's one of the biggest reasons that we chose to use this guy.
So the Inspire 1 is a drone of our choice. We are not paid in any way to say any of that. We're just sharing our opinion on our experiences we've had with several different drones.
Okay guys, in full transparency, I have only flown a Phantom one time, but I've seen how they fly and I know how they operate, especially on the camera side of things. This guy, however, is called a 3DR Solo, and we flew this. It was actually a character in our latest video we did in Australia, yet to come. That's going to be coming out soon, get excited. So I'm very familiar with this drone, and I feel like it's on the same tier as the Phantom. So when I'm talking about this guy, I feel like I'm talking about the Phantom as well. The way the camera works is the same. The Phantoms that use the GoPros, a lot of Phantoms, especially the 4, come with a 4K camera now, so those are far better. But how you can operate the camera is the same on both drones. Some of the benefits that the Inspire has, these have as well. They are very user-friendly because they rely heavily on GPS. What that allows you to do is to set point A and point B and have this drone, without you touching anything, fly as a cable cam would in that direction. It also allows you to orbit a center point. You can set a center point, put the drone back 15 or 20 or 30 feet, however much you want, hit go, and then that drone circles around your subject without you touching a thing. It's very user-friendly if you're not familiar with flying, because flying in a straight line and being steady and not going too fast or too slow, or orbiting around a subject, are probably the two hardest moves to pull off with a drone. So the downside of that is that when you're in an area that can't get GPS signal, downtown Sydney, Australia, it was impossible. This drone cannot fly unless you override the GPS. By doing that, you are losing a lot of help that the GPS gives you. For example, when you lift the drone up off the ground, the drone will just hover. The GPS signal helps it do that. When you turn the GPS off, it will no longer hover, it will sway with the wind. If the balance of the camera or something's a little bit off, it will, it'll want to turn one way, and you as the pilot, you have to correct for that. So there's trade-offs, there's good things and bad things about using GPS and not using GPS. But this is a great option if you're just starting out and you have a GoPro and want to get into aerial cinematography. For what it is, I think it's great, and I think it's a great starting point.
So I love the Inspire 1. That is my weapon of choice. It comes at a higher price, but I think what it can produce is phenomenal. The camera that's built into the camera, I feel, is just as comparable to the GoPro Hero 4, if not better. And yeah, I just love it, and it's something that I can control while Carter's flying as far as where that camera actually looks. There's two different controls, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So tomorrow's video, we're going to be covering how to fly the drone as far as setting it up and just basic knowledge that you'll need to know if you're just starting out flying the Inspire 1. But the Inspire 1 has been a game changer for us. It's been able to give us the shots that look like we had a much bigger budget when a lot of times we had a $0 budget. So this is the camera setup that I swear by, or the drone setup that I swear by. It's made a huge difference for what we're making, what we're creating. Thanks so much for watching. We'll have links to all these drones down below. One last thing, the new DJI Phantom 4 is phenomenal. I haven't actually experienced it yet, but I've watched the new videos that just came out announcing it, and it can actually track the subject. I don't know a ton about it because I haven't actually experienced it myself, so I think that's another awesome option. I just don't have any personal opinion about it because I haven't worked with it directly, but that's just my opinion from seeing it from an outsider. But the DJI Inspire 1 is the camera setup, the drone that we swear by. Check it out down below in the description. As we always say, over and out.
Yeah, wham, bam, super tramp. And I tipping up my hat while I boost the fans. And I hover up top, can you feel the noise? All the girls scream now cause they want the boys. Yo, making all the clouds looking like a big joke. When I run so fast and I sing so low. And you never wanna mess with me, you're just dissing me. I just set me free, so just stop. We cool, we hot, we fresh.